Today I fucked up by telling my students that I like to flip it over and hit it from the back. For context, most of my students are seniors in HS. We're working on a project that involves CNC milling out words and then laser engraving and laser cutting acrylic letters that are press-fitted into the wood. The acrylic pieces are the exact same size as the carved-out letters, so you need some pressure to get them in. We use a rubber mallet to hit the letters, but if students aren't careful, they can crack the acrylic. When I make personal projects like this, I push the letters in enough for them to be stuck. Then I flip the board over with the letters face down on the table and then use the mallet to hit the back of the board. This causes the acrylic letters to be pushed against the table and into their carved-out spots in the board. Well, while busy taking care of 1,000 things around the lab at once, I quickly told some students who were mid-process on pressing their letters in that I like to flip it over and hit it from the back. I quickly realized what I said and walked into another part of the lab hoping that no one heard it that way. Then I glanced over to the students and they were laughing pretty hard. I walked back over and said, "Yep, I heard it too." They're good kids and knew it was an honest mistake, but yeah. Too long did not read. I told my students, I like to flip it over and hit it from the back. When describing a helpful tip on pressing acrylic inlays into CNC'd wood. This is kind of the, definition of not safe for work. You're now way up the list of favorite teachers. We're working on a project that involves CNC. After the title, I had to double take it this part. You did nothing wrong. I'm 55 yo, college, grad school educated and I still enjoy the occasional that's what she said jokes. And whether you smack it, hammer it, tap it, bang it, cram it, shove it, nudge it, drive it, pound it, mash it, or whatever it, they're going to giggle. Par for the course. You seem to have good relationship with your students. Good on you. And BTW, I would have loved to have CNC training in high school. It's only dirty if you interpret it that way. Your most sheltered students probably didn't get it, and the ones with dirty minds are the only ones who laughed. I once told my students that I could handle a penis in the context of graffiti in textbooks: person facepalming female sign, person facepalming female sign, person facepalming female sign. There were often little scribbled willies, classic. But I was ranting about Nazi signs and racist comments being used as graffiti and telling off an entire class. I said, I can handle a penis but the racist stuff I will not stand for. Took me a second, then there was a lot of laughter, tears of joy loudly crying, tears of joy loudly crying. Waiting for the kids to reply. We like it that way too. Today I fucked up by talking to my wife about hookers and cocaine while her bosses could hear. Today I fucked up by thinking my wife was in an office with her coworker only when I made a joke about hookers and cocaine. My wife Jay is a nurse and shares an office with Kay. If anyone knows or has worked with nurses, they will know that many, of them can have a twisted sense of humor. Kay is no exception. She loves a good dark or warped joke. During the week Jay rang me to ask if I could do some free design work for the charity foundation that is attached to the hospital and which was working with her department on a project. Sure, I said, at the time pushing a trolley around the local supermarket. An old 80s disco song was playing and must have gone through the phone clearly. Where are you? She SSKED, laughed down the line. It sounds like you're at a disco. He could be at the pub, a voice said in the background. Thinking it was Kay in there as well and she must be able to overhear the conversation from her desk, I said, "Nah, I'm in a hotel room with 2 hookers and a bowl full of cocaine." Click. The line went dead right as I finished the sentence. A few minutes later I got a phone call from her personal phone. Oh my fucking god. What the fuck were you thinking? I dunno, I thought I was just making a shitty joke to make Kay laugh. No, you were on speaker and I was sitting with the head of the charity foundation and the director of our department. These people are way up there. In the hierarchy. Apparently, after the phone had been slammed down, they all just sat there silently for a few seconds, one of them looking at Jay with her eyebrows raised. And then they just returned to business as if they hadn't heard anything. I couldn't help laughing, and luckily she did too eventually. And yes, when Kay heard the story later she couldn't stop laughing. Too long did not read. Over the speakerphone I told my wife I was in a room with 2 hookers and a bowl of cocaine, thinking she was in her office with her coworker only. Turns out it was her and 2 of her big bosses listening in. Anyone who puts a call on speaker without warning the caller deserves what happens. Honestly, the person who screwed up was your wife more than you. Who are these people who put the speakers on to begin with, especially in a sensitive environment? And who does it without telling the person on the phone? Of course, not only did she screw up, but she kinda deserves what's happened, especially if it can learn her not to put these damn speakers back on back again anytime soon. Essential rule. If you have your phone on speakerphone, then make sure that the other person knows about it. Wife J needs to have a quick serious chat with the senior bosses and explain clearly that you were not in a hotel room with hookers and cocaine. It was only one hooker. Not plural. See if she can say that to the seniors with a straight face. If she'd laugh, this wouldn't be a problem. By slamming the phone, people around may think you were serious. I'd be like, GIF, Giphy, Y6YRFR88RVP44. At this point, 2 hookers and a bowl full of cocaine is synonymous with, I'm making a dumb joke to hopefully lighten the mood. Anyone who doesn't think that is either 1. A hooker. 2. The second hooker. 3. Someone with no sense of humor, empathy, or will to even think that people find that line funny. 4. An anthropomorphized bowl of cocaine worried about dying to coke vampires. Today I fucked up by injuring my nipple at work. Using an alternative account because I don't really want this to come back to me. Also on mobile, so please bear with me if I misspell something or forget any capitalization. I included the not safe for work in case discussing nipples, areolas was considered that. I apologize in advance. Today while at work I accidentally injured my right areola while stacking some totes at work. I was placing the totes on a larger stack and I guess I was too close to the edge of the totes and crushed my nipple, cutting a small part of my areola. Now I'm sitting at home icing my injury in shame. I can't tell any of my family or my partner because I'm so embarrassed, but I had to get this off my chest. Melting face. Too long did not read. I smashed my nipple at work and cut my areola and am now icing it in shame. Edit. I am a woman and the injury is on my areola and very close to, on my nipple as well. Edit 2. Please stop asking for photos of my injuries in my messages, requests. Get it off your chest? Good one, Dad. Always report injuries at work. They are liable, and if anything worse happens to it like infection and it's not reported, you will have to pay for everything. Can you get medical attention? Also, your work can be liable, so it's better to report it. Some dude at work got his nipple caught when he was closing a shoot and man, everybody in the back heard his screams. That tote sucks. What are totes though? Today I fucked up by not closing my curtains while having a wank. Okay, just for context, I'm a 25-year-old gay guy. This morning at 7 a.m. I woke up feeling pretty frisky, and so I decided to start the day with a quick wank before work. Guys here will know the score, lol. I put on a hot video and start to go to town on myself. I was really in the heat of the moment, when all of a sudden I hear a sponge on my window, which is directly behind me in bed, so you can see into my whole room if you somehow look in. Now, my house is a detached one which overlooks a field, and my room is on the 3rd floor, so I don't overly worry about being seen when I'm doing my business. My curtain is usually closed most of the time anyway, but if it isn't, it isn't, sort of thing. When I hear the sponge though, I look behind me with my boner in my hand, and there is a middle-aged guy just looking and scrubbing away at the window. I felt intensely embarrassed, and quickly closed the curtain, OFC having gone entirely soft again at this stage. I was annoyed about it for a little bit, and was blaming the window cleaner. Though I'm mostly over it now and I realize I should be more careful in the future when I go to enjoy myself, lol. It's gonna be awkward though when he comes back for the payment, lol. Too long did not read. Window cleaner caught me having a wank when I realized my bedroom curtains weren't entirely closed and he could see everything. That guy's job is literally looking inside people's windows all day. This probably won't even qualify for the most embarrassing thing he has seen this week. And don't forget the guy who was having a wank with the windows wide open when the Google car drove by his house and caught him red-handed. It is blurred now, though. Window cleaner meet pipe cleaner. Pipe cleaner meet window cleaner. Don't shake hands, though. Just wave. Unbroken eye contact until you finish. Assert your dominance as his employer. Who the fuck is cleaning your windows at 7 a.m.? You know what? Everybody masturbates. Everybody seen dick. It's nothing to be ashamed of. And besides, as a professional, it's job to not mind about those things. It's house, not his, and entitled to do in house whatever you like.